Just a picture-perfect evening for college basketball under the lights in Laramie, Wyoming, and it's the final weekend of college basketball in February, which means that the conference tournaments are right around the corner. But before we get there, we got some work to do right here at Arena-Auditorium as the Wyoming Cowboys welcome in the Boise State Broncos. Now let's take a look at the Mountain West standings, and you see Boise State sitting in second place, just a half game behind Utah State at 9-4, and Wyoming looking to even things up at 7-7. And good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Adams here with Brian Burton. And when you look at the Wyoming Cowboys, they have currently faced some hard times. They have lost 4 out of their last 5 games. This is definitely a great opportunity for them to get back on track. Yeah, they've played outstanding at home at times and played their best against some of the best teams in the league. They'll need that same kind of effort. Meanwhile, Boise State looking to slide into that first place spot in the standings. Well, when you look at the top players for today's game, we have 2 really good ones. Starting off with Tyson Dagenhart, as you see, averaging just a smudge under 18 points a game. He's really good. On the opposite side, Mason Walters really doing some great things for the Cowboys. Yeah, Tyson is one of the best players in this conference. He is definitely putting himself in position to be considered in that Player of the Year category as this team goes as he goes. Coach compared him a little bit to Tim Duncan in his consistency and the fact that it's not flashy, but boy, is he good. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mason Walters, a big key for Wyoming, giving them some interior scoring in his last 3 games, getting 15 points a game, almost 6 rebounds. The former NAIA Player of the Year, they will need him to be a big force against Boise State. The Cowboys, they're used to pulling off the upset. They already did so against Colorado State on their home floor. They're looking to do so yet again as they take on the Boise State Broncos under the Saturday Night Lights. Come back and join us right here on the Mountain West Network for tip and also the starting lineups.
College basketball on the Mountain West Network is presented by Blue Peak Fiber Internet, providing Cowboy and Cowgirl fans with rock-steady internet. Blue Peak, keeping Wyoming fans connected. And by the University of Wyoming College of Engineering and Physical Sciences, bucking the system since 1886. Find your future at uyo.edu/CEAS.
And we welcome you back inside Arena-Auditorium as the Wyoming Cowboys look to improve to 7-7 in conference play as they take on the Boise State Broncos. With that, let's take a look at our keys to tonight's game, and that's presented by Union Wireless. Brian, what you got for us today? Yeah, big keys for both teams. Gritty over pretty for Boise State. They're 16-2 when allowing 70 points or less. They need to be able to make this game gritty, tough, rebounding, defense, the whole 9. They're one of the top 30 defenses in the country per Ken Palm defensive efficiency. Meanwhile, elite offensive production for Wyoming, 10-0 and outshooting their opponent from the field, 3-13 when being outshot. We've seen them do big games against Colorado State. We've seen them do it shooting almost 60% versus Nevada. They have the capability. Big one tonight. And here's our starting lineups presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming. Started off with Roddy Anderson III. Next up, you also have Chabozo Agba. And on the opposite side, you look at for Wyoming, Wenzel Griffin, Aquel Cott, Walters will lead out the starting 5 for the Wyoming Cowboys. Take a look at Leon Rice, 14th year with the Boise State Broncos, has done a fantastic job, has taken them to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. On the opposite side, you see Jeff Linder, 4th season with the Wyoming Cowboys, 140-102 record overall. Referees tonight, Frank Harver, Crystal Hogan, and Kurt Jeffries will lead the way here as the Cowboys will be in their white tops, white bottoms, brown numbering, and Boise State in their black tops, black bottoms, and blue numbering and white outlining. And here we go at Arena-Auditorium, and the tip will be won by the Boise State Broncos, who come in at 18-8 on the year, 9-4 in conference play, in second place. The last game they played against San Jose State and won that one 82-50. Actually had 2 back-to-back blowout wins as they were able to defeat Fresno State as well. First possession, the shot goes up by Stanley, and that's good. Omar Stanley had 10 points against San Jose State, gets himself off to a great start with the first possession. Yeah, nice early possession, getting the ball inside, getting a one-on-one post-up. Nice hook shot by Stanley. Well, as you see for Boise State, 16-1 on the road this year, one of the more dominant teams overall. Very difficult to beat them. Almost have to have a perfect game as that's missed by Sam Griffin. Quickly up court, another lay-in by Boise State. Ronnie Anderson, the third, able to get the job done. The sophomore from Huntington Beach, California.
Yeah, great job in transition. Nobody stopped the ball. When they don't stop the ball, you got to go all the way to the rim. An easy layup right there by Boise State.
Griffin with it. As Powell looking for some help. Here's Brendan Wenzel. So there'll be a foul on the play. And Wenzel, one of the players who you could say could be the key to today's game. He has the hot hand. He's a guy who could be able to shoot the ball very well from downtown. Will be very important to be that third scorer today.
Yeah, absolutely. He's played outstanding the last 10 games, averaging 16 points a game. He's one of the top minute-per-game players in the country. He's also always gets the defensive assignment of the other team's best player, a huge key for Wyoming.
Here's Aquel Cott with the layup, and that's good. And for Aquel Cott, that's pretty big for him. Only had 3 points in the loss against Nevada. Wyoming lost that one 76-58, but you don't see that from Aquel Cott a lot. With only 3 points, was 0 for 5 from downtown. Here's Rice. Shots up, and that's good. Was looking for the foul, doesn't get it, but will get 2. And just like that, the Broncos up 6-2 on the road.
Yeah, coach's son can hoop. He's a shooter, but he's also a tough dude that understands winning at a high level. Great little post-up floater right there by Max Rice.
Powell looking for some help. See Aquel Cott was able to get the layup the last time. Beautiful pass to Walters. Almost lost his footing. Spins around, hook shot. That's a little too strong. Rebounded by Boise State. They quickly want to go up court. Anderson gives it off. And it'll be a foul on the Cowboys as Omar Stanley will go to the line and shoot 2.
And this is part of the gritty over pretty, right? They're not really concerned about shooting a bunch of threes necessarily, but they are making an intentional effort to get to the paint. There you see Max Rice, a guy who's known as being a shooter, get to the paint. Might have got a little bit of a knock on the elbow, and then the last possession, you see them getting to the paint as well. They have made a concerted effort in transition or in the half court to really pound the ball inside and make this a tough physical ball game.
Stanley, a 73% free throw shooter, misses the first one. By the way, the foul was on Caden Powell. That's his first, also the team first. One more, and it's good. Makes the score 7-2. One of the keys I would imagine for Wyoming today is you don't want to find yourself down big. You're at home, you have the crowd right behind you. You want to keep the crowd in this game and help you get over the mark as Walters lines up for 3. That's too short. So far, Wyoming having a tough day from the floor, just 1 of 4. Quickly up court. Here comes Anderson trying to go and feed that ball into Degenhart, but it's stolen away by the Cowboys.
Yeah, you mentioned it not digging a big hole. I think, not only that, but just being able to get your offense going. Good job being able to take some early shots that they like, but must be able to get stops. It's about getting stops for the Cowboys. It can't just be an up-and-down shootout in order to be able to get a victory.
Wenzel with the miss. Boise State looking to do some work again. Stanley with the turnaround on the baseline. Nice shot there by Stanley. He now has 5. Omar Stanley, really good-looking player out there, Brian. Griffin getting the pick to Powell in the corner. Cott thought about the 3. Drive, stop at the elbow. Takes a fadeaway J, and that's good. Nice shot there by Aquel Cott again against Nevada. He only scored 3 points the whole game. He now has 4. And the Cowboys down by 5.
Yeah, he's a guy that scores at a high level. Everybody has an off night, and he's a Division II All-American. Has had multiple game winners in this building. Has done an outstanding job in his first year for the Cowboys.
And there's an offensive foul on Boise State. And let's take a look at Aquel Cott in the last bucket. And you see he's just very comfortable from the elbow.
Yeah, didn't force it. Took his time, got his feet in the paint. Little 1-foot fadeaway a la Dirk Nowitzki back in the day. You see a lot of guards being able to add that type of pivot work to their game.
Same type of work you had in your game, right?
Yeah, not quite. I got it now. I didn't have it then.
Manyao comes into the game and immediately makes the impact as he lays it off the window.
Yeah, it's going to be big for the forwards to be able to contribute in this game. It won't be able to be just the guards in order for Wyoming to keep up with this high-scoring Boise team.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff Linder looking for another foul. Didn't get the offensive foul to miss by Boise State. Sam Griffin looking to tie things up, and he does. Sam Griffin, the senior from Miami, Florida, transfer from Tulsa, He gets his first 3 points of the day, and we're knotted up at 9 apiece.
Yeah, this is what makes Wyoming so dangerous at home. There's so many three-point shooting, so many guards that can make plays.
Well, Rice double teamed, and that'll be a foul right under the basket. Will be on Sam Griffin. That'll be his first personal foul, will be the team's second. And with that, we will step aside. An exciting start as the Wyoming Cowboys are on a 7-0 run, and they're tied up with the Boise State Broncos at 9. 9-9's our scores. Wyoming is on a 7-0 run against the Boise State Broncos. Justin Adams, as well as Brian Burton with you. When you talk about Boise State, you better believe there's one thing that they do very well, and that's win on the road. Brian, they have the top record since 2021, 2022, 15-9 on the road. They're just impressive away from home.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those programs, you think about it, they haven't been nationally ranked like CSU has, New Mexico has, Nevada has, San Diego State has, but they've been as consistent as any team in this Mountain West. You got to give Leon Rice credit. And not only that, a disciple of Leon Rice, a 6-year assistant of his, is Jeff Linder. Coach Rice says he has some of the secret sauce, so naturally he knows playing at Laramie is very hard because of the level of play, because of the elevation. But you have to give so much credit to this Boise State team. They're on the brink of another conference championship here again, and they're not the most hyped team in this conference.
And you know what? There's a reason why that they're going to be in the NCAA tournament again. It's because of what they do, like you say, on the road. They're not overly hyped, but you know what? They're one of the teams that is very difficult to beat. And there's Dagenhart. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast. How important he is to this team. He has 3 points right there.
Yeah, and he's kind of an unsung, uncelebrated guy in this conference. Nothing flashy about his game, but he is a get-it-done guy and a winner.
And Sam Griffin trying to go and tie things up with the opportunity to get the A1. Misses that one, but he will go to the line to get 2. And actually, that's the first shot made by Boise State outside the paint, that 3.
Yep, absolutely. And they got the right guy shooting it. Great offense by Boise on that last possession. And same with the Cowboys. When they can balance their offense with three-point shooting, getting to the foul line, and being able to score in the paint, that's when they have the ultimate formula. They put a lot of pressure on you because they are the highest percentage three-point shooting team in the Mountain West. And on top of that, when they can get to the foul line, get in a bonus, it just makes them that much more dangerous because they're a very efficient free throw shooting team.
Well, speaking of being very efficient at the free throw line, you usually don't see Sam Griffin miss free throws. Missed the front end and made the second one. He's an 84% free throw shooter. And when you look at guys who are really good guards, I mean, the Mountain West is the type of conference where it's guard happy.
No question.
Plenty of guys there. Sam Griffin, definitely one of them.
Yeah, I mean, you got some big-time players in this conference all the way around. You look at House, you look at Isaiah Stevens right up the road. You look at, really, you can go down any team.
Oh, Dagenhart. How about that, huh? Let me just back my way down, spin around, get it off the glass, and I'll go to the line and shoot the A1.
Yeah, so much versatility. This is a Barkley kind of back down that you used to see from Wyoming back when they had Graham Ike and Maldonado. Taking his time, uses a spin, gets it high off the glass, takes the contact. He has the size advantage. He's not just a guy who makes threes. He's not just a skilled player. Dagenhart is a tough interior player as well, and his versatility speaks volumes.
Dagenhart now with 5 points. 14-10 is our score. Maniau checked in the game. Quell Cott with 4. Looking for some help. Maniau with the rock. 9 seconds on the clock. Got to do some work. The freshman now with it, and he gets knocked to the floor.
Yeah, the freshman's had some good moments this year. He's got a promising upside form. Definitely has had some good rebounding games, some good scoring games. Like typical freshman, there's been highs and lows, but definitely a promising future for that young man.
Foul on Cam Martin. That's his first personal foul. Martin, a transfer from Kansas. It's also the team 4th on Boise State. Maniau now with it. When you see Maniau, what are some things you would like to see add to his game? Obviously, he's a really good guy around the rim, can really pull boards as Rice gets to that one. But what would you like to see from this young man just growing his game?
Yeah, I think it's just developing that consistency, right? I mean, freshmen have, again, highs and lows. They make some silly decisions sometimes. They jump at shot fakes like that you know Dagenhart, you can't allow him to have that kind of space, but he's going to continue to get better as he's going to be well coached in this program.
Griffin going from coast to coast, able to lay it in. Sam Griffin with the layup. He now has 6 points to lead all scorers. And it makes the score 14-12.
Yeah, that's another part of this Cowboys attack that makes them good. When they can play in transition and actually get stops instead of getting out of the net, definitely puts more pressure on the defense.
Corner pocket, Jay. That's nothing but nets. Andrew Meadow, the freshman from Santa Clarita, California, gets that to go, his 13th triple of the year. Boise State, 2 of 3 from downtown. They don't rest at 3 as Walters trying to respond. Misses that one off right. But it's like you say, Boise State, they don't rely on the three-point shot, but they can shoot it if you give them the opportunity, as that was just thrown away by Martin. He's looking for a teammate under the basket, and what he saw was absolutely nothing, and we'll have a couple of substitutions as Degenhart will come out. Coming in will be Powell, as Walters was come out. Wyoming shooting 45% from the floor. Boise State, get this, 77%, 7 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 3 from downtown. If not for the turnovers, they're getting whatever they want at the cup.
Yeah, they are, and the turnovers have been the way that the Cowboys have been able to get some of those stops. And again, this is why it's gritty over pretty. You have to be able to play gritty against this Boise State team if you're going to beat them, because they're not just an offensive-minded team. Again, they're a top 33 team per KenPom, but defensive efficiency. They're getting it done more on the defensive end than they actually are on the offensive end.
And they also force an offensive fouls. You get one right there on Wyoming as you take a look at Jeff Linder, the head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys. Foul will be on Caden Powell, and for Powell, that will be his first personal, actually his second personal foul, so got to be very careful right now. Martin thought about the 3. Very active Boise State I see right now. Nice push off, but the J is up. Just a floater and putting his hand out saying, hey, little man, you're a little bit too small out there.
Yeah, and if you're Griffin, you got to get more resistance. You can't allow a guy to be able to just force his way in there that easily. Got to be able to get a little more defensive presence for the Cowboys in this game. So far, it's been too easy, shooting 80% now, Boise State.
Chase Whitting averages 3 points a game, as that would be a foul on Boise State, sending Caden Powell to the line. But everything for Boise State, it just seems like we're going to start inside first. We'll get our paint touches, and then we'll kick everything out if it's available.
Yeah, absolutely. They feel like, just based on the way they've approached this game, they now have 12 points in the paint. Wyoming has 12 points in the game. They feel like they can get what they want inside. They don't have to force anything from the perimeter. And the response by Wyoming, good here. Again, when their forwards can score, it puts a lot more balance to their offense and not just having, their perimeter attack have to do all the scoring. So good job attacking on the pick and roll, getting Powell on a dive to the basket off of the roll. And big fella making a big step from last year as a freshman. Young fella from Texas is, again, another promising young player for this Wyoming ball club. They still want to build from freshmen. Coaches talked about that. Right. This is not a portal transfer destination that they can make a living off of. They still want to be able to develop good players, and you see some of the young players in this program, they have a chance to continue to grow and get better.
Doesn't hurt when you have a guy who's 6'10", 220, right? You put more muscle on that frame, and you continue to see Caden Powell grow. He's averaging 6 points a game. Just one of those guys you look at and say, hey, in a couple of years, maybe even next year, could be one of the stars of this team. Aquel Cott doesn't have the matchup advantage, and shooting up will be Max Rice. He'll get harmed on that one, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2 as the foul will be on Aquel Cott. Boise State leading 19-14 with 11:46 to go. Always great to see the future Cowboys and Cowgirls out on the floor enjoying themselves here at Arena-Auditorium. Got a good one so far. 19-14 is our score with 11:46 to go in the first half. Well, this is a wonderful series between Boise State and Wyoming. This is the 39th all-time meeting, and Boise State leads the way 23-15 overall. And Wyoming, 10-10 all-time in Laramie. We talk about how Boise State, they're great road warriors. Well, it shows right there with what they do when they come here and play against the Wyoming Cowboys.
Yeah, that last time Wyoming was able to win here is when they had that NCAA tournament team. Both teams were at the top of the standing. Boise at that time was undefeated in conference play, and they were able to get a big-time win at that time that actually helped them get into the national rankings and helped them get into that national tournament picture. And 4 teams went to the conference, to the NCAAs that year. they're projecting right now that it could be 6 teams in this conference to make it to the NCAA tournament, which would be an incredible accomplishment for this league.
Well, you and I, we talked about that a lot. You know, we had a chance to be able to go get some food last night, and that's one of the things that we brought up was, hey, there's 6 teams, possibly even 7 teams that could come out of here, and that's better than you could say with the ACC, maybe even Big East, right? There's so many different conferences that carry the Power 5 label. They might not get as many teams as the Mountain West is, and there's a turnover, pass up, laying up off the window, and that's good. Well, Boise State quickly going in transition as Roddy Anderson gets the layup. He now has 4 points, a 9-point advantage for Boise State.
Yeah, those are big plays you want to avoid. Those pick sixes, those turnovers for touchdowns. Cannot defend those in transition when you turn it over that way. Accidental kind of turnover, but really costly.
Combs kicks it out to Walters. Cott with 7 seconds on the clock, shoots the baseline J, and that's good. Aquel Cott with another 2 points. He has 6.
Yeah, again, now it's about getting stops for this squad. Boise State scored their last 3 field goals, 3 for 3, and it's been, again, too easy without resistance.
Boise State shooting 82%. And anytime they get open looks like this, it's nothing but net. Tyson Dagenhart with another triple.
Well, you asked about what can the freshman get better at for Wyoming. You got to know personnel. Tyson Dagenhart's one of the best players in this league. You cannot leave him open from 3. You got to sprint to that closeout and then be able to defend him on the drive as well. Too easy right there for Boise State.
Well, that's another thing, too, is running to the closeout, at least doing something just to be able to make the shooter a little nervous as Combs able to get the lay-in and the and-one opportunity.
Yeah, again, a big play right there. I mean, Boise trying to get separation in this game. That was a huge basket because they haven't, again, been able to get easy baskets in the paint. Almost turned it over, able to get it back and get the end one and another trip to the line.
Well, it's great to see Kyle Combs able to go and get that one to fall, the freshman from Missouri. You can just see just the potential that's dripping from his game.
But those are the kind of plays you need, again, for the Boise State. They want it to be gritty. Cowboys are going to have to respond with some grit themselves, and that was a physical drive to initiate some contact. You have to be able to be physical in this game. This is not going to be, again, one of those pretty ball games where you can just sit out and shoot threes and think you're going to win.
Well, Anderson thought about the 3. He'll shoot the 3, pulls the trigger, and misses that one. That's only just the 2nd miss. Make that actually the 3rd miss in this game for Boise State. Now 10 of 13 from the floor. Cowboys down by 7. Looking to slowly climb back into this game on that whole floor. Walters, spinning, layup. Yes, sir.
Exactly what they need. Got to be able to keep getting the ball to the paint because they're going to try to defend your 3s. The 3s can come more later, but got to find a way, again, to keep doing that steady diet of getting the ball to the paint.
Anderson with a nice give into the ball. Oh, man, what a play by Omar Stanley. It all started with Roddy Anderson with a beautiful bounce pass. Got it down to Stanley, and he knew what to do when he was right under the cup.
Yeah, again, Boise State getting physical away from the ball. There was some things that happened before that replay that kind of initiated some contact and some space. Unfortunately, Winslow got bumped out of bounds, tried to recover. But again, good job by Stanley just finishing right at the rim. Again, they are making a concerted effort now. 17 points in the paint for Boise State.
Stanley now with 8 points. Winslow picking up the foul, his first personal, also the 16th foul on Wyoming. So the next one would be 1 and 1. Cowboys trying to move around on offense, gives it to Walters. That's stolen away by Anderson. Anderson quickly up court looking for some help in transition and gives that one away. It's a 3-on-2 opportunity. Watch out behind you. Stolen away. Back and forth we go.
Yeah, I love that hustle back by Anderson. He turned it over, but he made a really conscious effort to get back and get it back himself.
And that's going to be a travel. There's a Euro step, but there's also a little extra on that Euro step. I don't know what you call that. Maybe Australian step? What do you do? Spanish step? What do you do?
I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe that's the Idaho step. Maybe maybe they can get away with that at home, but not on the road.
You got the Idaho potato step? Is that what you do?
Maybe that's what it is. Little potato stomp, you know what I mean?
Hey, man, I heard two steps. But I don't know about the 3-step right there. That'll be a turnover. 29-21's our score. 8:53 remaining. We got a nice substitution as well. Kenny Foster is in a game. Great to see Kenny Foster graduate student from Aurora, Colorado, as Walters takes it in. He wanted the horn, doesn't get the call.
Yeah, we talked about Walters in the open as a player to watch. They need his production. He's averaging 15 a game in the last 3, playing some really good basketball. Former NAIA Player of the Year. Need him to continue to be a force in the paint for this Cowboys club. And you mentioned Kenny Foster. What a story. One of the representations of what this program is about, that Cowboy toughness. Continues to fight back from injury to get himself back on the floor.
Yeah, he's been really just very difficult for him to get on the floor this year. Really great to see him. And nice defense by Manyao. Oh, he sends it to the front row.
So in basketball, they talk a lot about a kill, 3 stops in a row. Good job, again, by giving some resistance to this team, letting them know we're not going to be punked in our house. We're going to stand our ground, and they've gotten 3 stops in a row, done a good job defensively. They have to keep that going. Wyoming does. Been able to force a little bit of turnovers, get a block, get a steal in transition. Need to be able to keep that kind of defensive effort going for the rest of this game.
5 seconds on the shot clock. As the ball, we toss back, almost stole away by Manyao. Stanley, Euro step. Eye off the window, rebound by Manyao. He's a grown man and just a freshman. As Sam Griffin will slow things down, he just wants to run, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's playing with pace, which is what they need from him. They want to slow it down and execute something and get exactly what they want in this possession.
Combs being guarded very closely by Rice. Shoots the layup, no good. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2 when we return. Cowboys down by 6, but Boise State up 29-23 as they're shooting 68% from the floor. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast. Tyson Dagenhart leading the way with 8 points so far, 3 of 4 from the floor, and making things look easy out there.
Yeah, and this is what makes him who he is. There's nothing flashy about what you see from this young man, but he's so tough, so versatile, scores inside, scores outside. You see him stretch it from 3 multiple times, and nothing but the bottom of the net. We're not talking about a rim-rattling type make.
No.
We're talking about a guy who's tearing the nets down a little bit. So very efficient, very skilled, and then does it on the glass as well. Again, Coach compared his production to a guy and his consistency to a guy like Tim Duncan, because it's almost like he shows up, he clocks in, he's going to get his 15 and 10 and clock back out. And that's on an average night. On a good night, he's going to put up even bigger numbers. Again, he's averaging 22 and 7.5 in his last 5, playing some of his best basketball leading this club. And he's done it since he's a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those guys you're like, hey, kind of like Isaiah Stevens, like, this guy's still in the league?
Yeah, right.
This guy's got to be graduated by now.
What is he still doing here?
Still getting it done.
Combs misses the first free throw. Looking to go and get the second one as the left-handed toss is true. Kale Combs.
Combs is different than the other guards that play in the backcourt because he actually gets to the paint. He's more of a guy who gets to the rim. He's not afraid to be physical. He's been a good kind of addition to the rotation as far as his play. They need that kind of production from this roster.
Oh, you can't leave him open because that's exactly what happens right there. 3-point shot. Jace Whitting gets it to go.
Again, it goes back to defense for Wyoming, and Boise's the type of team. They're going to make you pay when you make a mistake, and there you see another one of those switches that wasn't very clean and very clear and made him pay.
5 points for him as Manyao tried to get the rebound, but knocks it out of play, and the Broncos will take over. So far from downtown, Boise State 4 of 6, 66%, just very efficient from downtown.
Yeah, for Wyoming, you got to figure out how to get stops, and they are in the bonus, so they are going to have a chance to get some free throws with 7 minutes left.
O'Meadow, he'll spot up for 3, and that rolls in and out. And guess who comes down with that rebound? Quickly up Combs. Corner pocket 3. Yes, sir. Brandon Wenzel with the triple, and for Wenzel, that is his first points of the day. He now has 48 three-pointers.
Yeah, he's a guy that's so crucial for this team. Again, he's their best defender on the perimeter, guards the other team's best player, and now his offense has really been picking up as of late. He's had some big-time games.
Meadow spots up for another 3. Couldn't respond as Manyao rips down the rebound.
Transition's been good for Wyoming. They need to continue to play with pace where they can get the open looks that they really want.
Oh, Sam Griffin gets that sit back to where it came from. Oh, man, what a block.
Yeah, no chance on that one.
Oh, man. There's certain times where you take it up and you say maybe. that's not one of those times.
Good idea, good take, but the young fella at the rim, Stanley, says, nah, this ain't happening.
Wenzel with another three, very short on that one, and that's going to be out of bounds. And who's the foul going to be on? As Manyau's not happy about that one. Is that a loose ball foul? Is that just out of bounds?
Again, it's the toughest game. They're not going to let you get those kind of fouls easily. And the veteran with a little veteran move right there says, hey, you're a freshman, I'm a vet. I'm going to show you how we do it in the Mountain West. It's a big boys league, but I love the way Manyau's been able to play with so much energy and activity. Again, another guy stepping up for Wyoming just at the time when they need it.
Well, it looked like Boise State also hit that ball out of bounds. You can't challenge that one, so the Broncos will have the rock. Rice takes too many steps.
Good call. It's a good call.
Well, I think this is one thing, too. You talk about the pressure, right? You have that defensive pressure. When you do that, then you have your shooter take another 100%. Extra step in order to get to a shot.
100%. Wyoming's playing with much more energy. Again, Boise was shooting 80% at one point in time in this game, probably about 10 minutes in. So they're now at 63%, which is still very high, but you've got some stops. You're now in a 2-possession game, and you're shooting 53% from the field as Wyoming. You're also gotten to the line more than Boise State. You've gotten there 7 times, and you're in the bonus. You have 6 minutes left. You play some good basketball. You have to be able to finish this half, though, and get it going while you can put pressure on people because you can make threes. Got to continue to play in transition, but to me, play inside out. Continue to try to see if you can get some touch fouls, get to the line, get some easy baskets, get the other team in foul trouble, make it so where you can say, hey, this is our house. We have some toughness here when we play against some of the best teams in this league.
Boise State takes the timeout. They have 3 more timeouts remaining. As you said, they're shooting 63%. But again, the defensive intensity is coming up. If you just look at the box score and someone told you the defensive intensity for Wyoming is actually picking up, you probably will laugh at them when you see this box score, but it really is right now. We'll see if the Cowboys can be able to convert after the timeout with 5:40 remaining in the first half. Cobes with the rock. At the elbow, stops, gets the harm, and almost got the and one.
Again, it just goes back to it. Combs, earlier in conference play, was not getting these minutes. It was pretty much a steady diet of Griffin, Acott, and Wenzel. Combs is giving them another dimension. Griffin's a skill guy. He likes to take shots. The same with Cott. And a little bit with Wenzel. Wenzel has the grittiness on the defensive end, but Combs is a guy who's knifing into the paint. He's drawing fouls. He's already been to the line multiple times in this game. This is his 3rd trip to the line in this ball game. Got to be able to convert those, but it's definitely a big part of this Wyoming attack to be able to draw some fouls and not just be a skilled perimeter shooting team.
By the way, the foul was on Meadows, and you got to convert those free throws, but the rebound, and Sam Griffin for 3. Yes, sir! He knocked that home from Cheyenne.
Yeah, I was going to say, that might have been from Denver. I don't even know if that was Cheyenne.
Man.
That was from another state, and a big-time offensive rebound again by the freshman. Boise wanted an over-the-back call. He tips it out, and now you see this crowd starting to get into this game.
And now we have a foul. It will be against Wyoming away from the ball. That's going to be on Combs. But let's go back to that 3-point shot.
There you see the tip, the left-handed tip. There you see the pass out. And again, from way downtown, Griffin being able to get the best time to shoot threes is after an offensive rebound. And big-time play right there. And now Boise at the line.
And they missed the free throw. And guess who comes down with the rebound? My goodness, Manyau is just a man-eater when it comes to rebounds, isn't it?
7 rebounds just in the first half, still with 5 minutes to play. The freshman has come ready to play in a game where it's, there's no boys allowed in this game. It's a man's game, and he is stepping up big time.
Well, you're talking about a freshman looking really good out there. Manyau, 6'9", 228, playing much larger than that today, believe it or not. Walters steps into a double team, and that's going to be a foul on Boise State. That will be their 9th team foul, so that means when we return, the Cowboys will be on the line, at the free throw line, shooting the 1 and 1, 32-30. An exciting matchup here at Arena-Auditorium. We'll be right back. Actually, we're staying right here. We had the music rolling and everything, man. I felt good about that.
A little party time.
Well, we'll talk about what we do after the game, a little party.
Yeah, we talked about Walters again in the open, and again, a young man who was an NAIA Player of the Year. He's proven it, as Coach Linder would say. you know, guys that can play, and this young man can play. And again, good job getting to the line. They haven't been able to convert the last 3 bonus free throws, unfortunately.
Well, spotting up for 3, and nothing but net is Rice. Oh, man. That 3-point shot is nice from Rice.
I said it earlier. The coach's son can hoop.
Oh, my
He did
goodness.
that off the dribble in transition from way out. That is a highly degree of difficulty shot, and he made it look easy.
As Sam Griffin, he makes that look easy. Taking that one in. He didn't have to go off the window.
Yeah, the good thing about Griffin when he's making threes, you have to put a little more pressure on him so then he's able to drive closeouts and get nice layups like that one. Big-time play.
Griffin with now 11 points. Rice with the rock yet again. You got to stay on top of that kid. Anderson. Degenhart with the drive, looking for an opening. He'll just take his time. 7 seconds on the clock, spinning, and that's going to be almost stolen away. Gets the rock back. 2 seconds, one, and he lays it in. Tyson Degenhart, just a monster out there with 10 points.
I know I said it early in the open about plays, keys to the game, gritty over pretty. That's a 50-50 ball that Wyoming has to come up with.
As the ball stolen away, Rice with it, gets it from Wenzel, and will be a foul on Wenzel as Rice could not get the free throw, could not get the layup, rather. So with that, we will step aside. 37-32, 3:31 remaining in the first half. We'll be right back. Boise State up by 5 over Wyoming, and Sam Griffin keeping the Cowboys close in this one.
Yeah, one of the best scorers in the Mountain West. Again, when he's able to get to the paint, always helps his game. He's got deep range, as you see on this one. Nothing but the bottom of the net. He's pushing it in transition, playing with pace, getting downhill. When this young man gets going, this team plays their best basketball. You see the ranks of where he's at, the NCAA top 26, 22, 22. I mean, just talking about a guy who definitely is about buckets, especially when they play at home. And when they've played their best and when they've beaten people, he has been the catalyst to make sure he plays well. People keying on him, and then other people get to eat too.
How about this with Sam Griffin? He has scored 20 or more points in 11 games this season. I mean, just has been dominant on the floor. Really great to be able to see him come from Tulsa here to Wyoming and continue his scoring ways.
Yeah, and a guy that the staff, Kenny DeWeese, recruited when they were at Northern Colorado, and that shows the relationship of people in this game now with the transfer portal. That was many years ago, and here this young man is being a big asset for the Cowboys.
Beautiful pass inside to Mania, who knows just what to do from there.
I mean, I don't know if we've talked enough about Combs and how he's played and Mania, but these two freshmen, again, gives you great upside and building blocks. That was a big-time pass and great finish.
Well, it's the future that's showing out right now. They need all the minutes they can get from these two young men. As the Cowboys down by 5. King feeds it in. Stanley. He'll spot up for 3. That's not his game, as Stanley is just a 32% three-point shooter.
Got to come up with that rebound. That's a big rebound for Boise. Again, the gritty, small plays that don't really show up as much in the stat sheet.
Well, especially if the ball ends up in his hands. That's exactly what happens when you give up those offensive rebounds. You also give up triples. Another 3 by Boise State. They're 7 of 12 from downtown in the first half.
Yeah, you got to understand they're shooting 65% of the field. So if they miss the first one, you got to rebound it because they're going to probably make the next one at the rate that they're shooting it. Good job there by Boise doing the little things.
And Mannion has that one bounce off his toe. Leads to a fast break opportunity. Degenhart with the layup and one. Combs tried to go and get his hand in there to stop the layup, but Degenhart just too strong. And he'll go to the line to shoot the and one.
Yeah, and again, the freshman on both ways. Freshman turns it over on probably a not wanted play by the staff, and then you see you can't foul and let him get the and one. He's too good of a player, too big of a swing. If you're going to foul him, he cannot get that and one.
Well, Quell Cott will come back in the game, and Combs will take a seat.
Again, this is what makes Degenhart so good. I mean, he's got a quiet, it's hard to even say that he's got a quiet, but he's got a quiet 13 points.
He really does.
He's got 5 of 6 from the field, and he's doing it with such efficiency. Again, one of the players in this conference that is going to be probably easily a first team, but he's in the conversation for player of the year as Boise is competing for another conference championship.
I think great Osobor, the big center out of Utah State's one of those guys who will also be looked at as a possible player of the year.
Jay Ledee, of course, at San Diego State.
Foster battling for the rebound, and he gets the 50-50 ball.
Kenny Foster making Kenny Foster plays. You'd love to see this young man back in the uniform and doing what he does. I don't know that he should have probably got the favor of that call there, but this is what makes Kenny Foster such a valuable asset to this team. He's a great guy off the ball. He's always making 50-50 winning plays, cuts, offensive rebounds, you name it. They definitely are glad to have him back.
Anderson, keen for three. That's too strong. And Rice rips down the rebound. 1:15 to go in the first half. Anderson was fouled in the play. That's a late call, but it is the right call. And Anderson should be shooting 2, as they'll be in the double bonus. Foul is on Mason Walters. That's his second.
Yeah, just getting Junior in the bonus. It is a huge part of the game that may not be talked about enough. But when you can just be really physical and you get to be more aggressive, any touch foul puts you on the line. We've seen Wyoming get there. They haven't been able to convert theirs. Meanwhile, Boise stretching this lead going into the half. They're now up 12. If you're Wyoming, you got to find a way to get some stops, cut this thing to 10 before you go into halftime in an ideal scenario.
Boise State now 8 of 11 from the line. And just like you talked about, Wyoming, 5 of 10 from the free throw line. And next one's missed, and the rebound is sky high and grabbed by Wenzel, and Wenzel on the loose ball.
Wenzel showing a little hops on that one. A little bit of bounce from the young fella. Went up top, took the elevator, not the stairs.
Got a little spring on him right there.
Yeah, two-hand rebound, earns a trip to the line. This is what we talk about with the bonus. That little bit of a contact puts a great free throw shooter on the line, and these are points that Wyoming needs in this game because it's hard to score against this offense, against this Boise State defense, despite the fact they're shooting 54% from the line. Need to be able to get some easy baskets, and Wenzel's got a terrific story, almost a no-star coming out of high school, San Antonio, Texas, O'Connor High School, signs early at UTEP, gets out of his letter, goes to Utah. At Utah, he redshirts, then he redshirts here and transfers. He started here almost every game he's been here and playing some of his best basketball. An awesome story of a guy who, known as just a shooter, has now become the best defender as well in this Cowboy program.
Well, very outstanding and upstanding young man. Just the way that he's able to play on the floor. And you could tell just the defensive intensity, how it picks up when he is on the floor. Well, Whitting, he'll shoot a 3. And that's good again. You got to go get a hand in his face. He could knock things down as he gets another 3-point shot to go. He now has 6 points, his second triple of the day.
Yeah, just make him pay. Trying to play a little bit of zone defense that time. Left him open just a little bit too long. And this Boise State team is capitalizing on every single mistake made.
Quellcott's been quiet for a while. He's now going into his back, shoots the mid-range J. That rolls in and out. And Boise State has a chance to get the final shot of the first half. Already up by 13, shooting 65%. Not a lot of defense being played by either team. Broncos. Rice swings it over to Degenhart and shoots the floater, and that's good. Tyson Degenhart with a team high and game high 15 points as Boise State leads by 15, 51-36 as we go to halftime. What a tremendous start by Boise State, shooting 66% from the floor, 18 of 27, and 7 of 13 from downtown. We'll be right back to Arena-Auditorium with our halftime report. Boise State up by 15 against the Wyoming Cowboys as we welcome you back inside Arena-Auditorium. Justin Adams as well as Brian Burton with you. And let's take a quick look around the Mountain West. There's a lot of great things that are happening in this conference. As you said, Brian, there could be as many as 6 teams that go to the NCAA tournament from this conference. Very impressive.
Yeah, high-level conference. You got to love what's happening when it comes to the net ranking when you have this many teams as high. And I think they're getting more respect, too, because San Diego State finally broke that postseason kind of like curse, so to speak, of not having Mountain West success. They made it all the way to the national championship game. So many teams in this league, so much depth. Really impressive year right now in the Mountain West.
Well, one of the things you look at, right, San Diego State, obviously, great team just in general. New Mexico, they actually fell today against Air Force. Air Force was able to go on the road and beat New Mexico as a three-point shot was in by Ritas Petrides. And you obviously see Colorado State have a tough one tonight as they'll take on UNLV. Utah State, one of those teams that I see that, hey, they can do some damage in the NCAA tournament. All right, let's look at bracketology. It's exactly what we love to see, right? And you can see the current rankings in bracketology. It's looking good all over around. And Nevada, one of those last 4 teams in, if you look at what's going on in Fox.
Yeah, just again, really impressive, the depth of this league. And so many of these teams, 4 of them have already been ranked in the top 25 this season. And not only that, but you have big-time players in this league. Anytime you have teams playing as well, there's players behind it that are driving that, and there's some big-time players in this Mountain West.
And then you look at the top of the list, some of the top players that we have. Isaiah Stevens obviously is one of them. And then you look at Jalen Rose, TJ Toppin. I mean, it just gets fantastic from there. But great Osobor, I've seen him several times this year. He has been extremely impressive.
Yeah, these are some of the picks by Jeff Goodman, his midseason Mountain West awards. Isaiah Stevens was a preseason player of the year, but again, so many players that aren't on this list, like Tyson Daggerhart, Jalen Ledee. The list goes on of the quality of players in this conference, and the depth speaks volumes.
Well, again, it's really great to see what's going on in the Mountain West. Obviously, something to always keep an eye on. But right now, we want to get back to something even more important here at the University of Wyoming. On Thursday, the University of Wyoming family suffered a tremendous loss. 3 members of the University of Wyoming swimming and diving team died in a single vehicle crash on U.S. Highway 287, which is 10 miles south of the Wyoming-Colorado border. 2 other members of the men's swimming and diving team were injured in the crash. Tragically, sophomore Charlie Clark, freshman Carson Moore, as well as junior Luke Slobber were killed in this accident. Now, GoFundMe has been started in their honor, and if you feel inclined to donate, you can use the QR code that you see right now on the screen to access the donation site. Donation towards this incomprehensible tragedy will be provided to the 3 families equally to help offset funeral expenses and travel. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family, friends, and coaches and teammates of these 3 student athletes. They will truly be missed, but they will not be forgotten. We'll be right back with more. The little ones out on the court getting ready for their college debut in, let's say, about a decade or so, as Boise State leads 51-36 at halftime. Justin Adams, Brian Burton, and when you look at the first half, Brian, Boise State getting every shot that they want, shooting 66% from the floor. It's really easy out there right now.
Yeah, and it's just, you got to give them credit. They're a really good offensive team. They're on pace for 102 points. So anytime you have that kind of offensive production on the road, it says a lot about what you're able to get done, and they're executing their game plan at a high level right now. Only a handful of turnovers as well. Those are the possessions where Wyoming was able to get stops, but you have to give, again, so much credit to this Boise State team. They're on a mission for more than just winning this game. They want to win the conference.
Well, they are a half game back of Utah State for the top spot in the Mountain West. So let's take a look at the first half. And again, it started out very easy and simple for Boise State, and they've just been able to ride the wave from the beginning.
Yeah, first half highlights, you mentioned that 67% from the field. They made 7 threes as well. They got to the line and were 8 of 12. Here you see, again, the three-point shooting, a huge weapon. I mean, 7 of 13 is extremely efficient from that land, and they were able to do it from a multitude of spots. Here you see Wyoming trying to play some zone, changing things up, but the ball movement, the assists, 8 assists in this game for this squad, sharing the rock, again, able to get it done in the paint and from 3. Meanwhile, you have Wyoming responding in the paint, being able to get 18 points themselves in the first half, doing a good job. Sharing the rock also was able to get to the bonus as well, drawing some fouls, getting to the line, being a little bit more physical, and doing more balanced attack than just shooting threes. Good half offensively for Wyoming, shooting 52%.
Well, it's all about those points in the paint as well. When you look at this game, Boise State with 22 points in the paint, only 18 for Wyoming. What other numbers stand out to you that you see right here?
Yeah, I mean, both teams able to get to the free throw line. I think that's great. I mean, again, it's really even outside of the efficiency. You have to give more resistance. Teams cannot come into your house and shoot almost 70% from the field. You have no chance to win that way. So if you can get that down closer to 50, then everything's pretty much even. Then you have to defend the three.
Boise State has made 5 more field goals than Wyoming, and that's the reason why they are enjoying a 15-point advantage at halftime.
College basketball on the Mountain West Network is presented by Blue Peak Fiber Internet, providing Cowboy and Cowgirl fans with rock-steady internet. Blue Peak, keeping Wyoming fans connected. And by Ridley's Family Markets. Save time, shop online, the official grocery store of Wyoming Athletics.
$51-36 is our score, rather, as we're just a minute away from getting you back for the second half of this wonderful matchup between Boise State and Wyoming. We already had an upset today in the Mountain West as Air Force was able to go on the road and pick up their second conference win of the year. They were able to go and beat New Mexico in a thrilling matchup from there. And as you look at the rest of the Mountain West, we talked about it a little bit earlier, right at halftime, where we said, hey, this is really just a log jam up top. And that's one of the main reasons why you see a game like this so important as we take another look at the Mountain West standing and some of the great costumes we have around here as well. But you see right now, Boise State at 9-4, Utah State at 10-4. So Boise State just a half game back of the Utah State Aggies. And you look at Wyoming sitting at 6-7. Trying to find a way how to be able to move up. Colorado State currently playing UNLV. Last check, that score was 18-12 with the Rams on top of UNLV. So, again, every game has that much more importance to it. You look back at this one, and this one is a crucial one for Boise State. They know going into this one, if they can get a W, they have a chance to not only tie things up, but depending on what happens with Utah State, they may be on top of the Mountain West standings. And when you look at Wyoming, what they have to do in the second half, they're not shooting the ball poorly, shooting 52% from the floor as Boise State is shooting 66%. But that's really what the issue is Wyoming has to figure out a way how to be able to stop the Broncos' vaunted offense as Wyoming comes back out in their white tops, white bottom, their brown numbering, and they'll get the first possession of the second half. As you see Brendan Wenzel, one of the young men's filling up for the Cowboys. Aquel Cott not getting a lot of time right now, but Cott sitting with 6 points. Walters backing his way down, not getting a lot. That could have been an offensive foul, and not getting the flop as Boise State now be a layup for 2, and a good start there for Wyoming.
Yeah, good no call by the refs to let infamous flop call either. Good bucket to start the half.
Well, those are the type of things that you have to do, right, Brian? If you're Wyoming, it's to be able to actually maybe do what Boise State has done as Rice misses that way off to the right. You may have to start to go inside and then say, okay, then we can kick it out and go to our 3-4 shooters.
Yeah, you got to chip away at this big lead that Boise State has carved out. Don't want to start the half letting them get even more separation. Now the points in the paint are 22-20, getting more even. Big second possession right here.
What are some of the keys that you have to the second half in this one where you say, hey, this is exactly what Wyoming has to do if they want to get back in this one?
I mean, their offensive efficiency has been good. They're shooting 54% from the field. They've only turned it over just 7 times. They probably need to cut that in half. But it really goes down to the defensive end for Wyoming and continue to do what they've done on offense.
Skip pass to Griffin for 3. That rolls in and out. And here comes Boise State up by 13. Rice already with a couple of triples today. Looking for some help.
You can't let a team be on pace for 100 points in your building. Got to be able to get some stops. And there you see turnovers. Now you got to convert those for points off turnovers.
A little bit surprised Sam Griffin didn't go harder towards the rim, but he backs things out. Right back to Walters yet again. See what the young man can do. Spins around on the baseline and gets the hook shot to fall.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, again, he was a player of the year of an entire collegiate level. He knows how to score the basketball. They know where to get them the ball in sweet spots, and now they've cut the lead to 11, starting with a little 4-0 run to start the half.
Walters with 8 points. And a pretty good start here as Ogbo for 3. And he said he got hit on the wrist. And talking to one of the referees, and I'm a little bit surprised that, I won't say he get teed up, but could have been a warning from what he said to one of the refs. As a 3-point shot is good, Walters with the take, and he'll go to the line for 2. And Rice went down very hard. Let's see if both guys are okay.
Yeah, nice screen there by Kenny Foster to get the big man open. But, yeah, you see a late hit on the contest.
It was on the elbow. It was close.
But here you see a screen by Foster to free up Mason and able to get to the basket. Again, a steady diet. We talked about him in the open, averaging 15 a game in the last 3. Huge part to balance out this offense. Again, the leading scorers on this team are on the perimeter. They need to be able to get more production, again, inside in a game like this where it's not going to be easy. Again, I said it earlier, this is not a boys' game. This is a man's game. Boise State is one of the teams at the top of this conference. You have to be able to fight with them, compete with them, and be physical with them.
And I think that's one of the main reasons why Kenny Foster is in the game, right? You say he goes down, he runs to the floor, gets those tough, 50-50 balls. One of the reasons why he's in this game, like you said, it's a man's game out here today.
Yeah, you just need that extra spark from a guy who hasn't played a ton this season, has been so injured, and you want to be able to ride the wave of some of those hustle and winning plays he made in the first half.
Oh, what a take by Anderson and 1. Flex on him, young man. What a take.
And again, part of what Boise State is doing for those at home, they are trying to exploit some mismatches here. They feel like they can attack Griffin off the bounce as a defender. They've posted up Acott early in this game with Rice. They're going at some of these offensive-minded players in backcourt by Wyoming and trying to, again, make them have to defend, and so far it has paid off for them.
Anderson with now 8 points after making that free throw, make this a 15-point advantage yet again for Boise State. So right when Wyoming looks like they're going to crawl themselves back into this one, Broncos come back with a couple of buckets. Sam Griffin, skip pass. Cotton looking to dance with it, got a bag of his own. And now the Cowboys start their offense yet again. Another skip pass. Foster with the take. Couldn't get the kind roll. Nice defense there by Boise State. The Broncos looking spectacular out there today, shooting 66%. Stanley spots up for 3. Couldn't knock that one down, but Tyson Dagenhart's right there for the rebound. Rice thought about the 3 twice. Anderson will shoot the 3, and he'll make it, but that won't be before the shot. The foul will be on the floor.
Yeah, that timely rebound, again, we mentioned it earlier in the first half. Again, when you're shooting 65%, there's not a ton of chances for offensive rebounds, but when you get those opportunities, they have made them pay. Just a little bit of physical play you saw in the replay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not sure how much of a foul that really was, but again, Wyoming putting up the fight, which is what they have to be able to do.
Well, Brian, that's a big foul. That's Caden Powell's 3rd personal foul, as that was touched by Wenzel. But Caden Powell has to sit with 3 fouls. It's also the 2nd team foul.
Yeah, I think part of what Coach Linder was trying to do, even with that lineup and bringing Wenzel off the bench, is, you have an energy to start the half, that first 4 minutes, knowing how important Wenzel is to this team. You can put him back in and kind of maybe have a spark off the bench. They need all the spark they can get right now. They cannot let this team get more than, again, now it's getting closer to 20. You're at 17 points. Got to close the gap somehow and start getting those stops.
Just Anderson so sneaky, going right behind one of his players. I believe that was Dagenhart he went right behind and was able to get the layup. Just finding those creases. Here's Manyao, the freshman from Kansas City, Missouri. He'll shoot 2.
Yeah, again, nice job on the ball screen to be able to find the roller going to the rim. And the forwards for Wyoming have been doing a good job attacking. Again, it's not so much their offense that is the problem. They're on pace to be able to put up 80-something points as well. Got to find a way to get some stops, but they are doing a good job, again, going back to the free throw line, as this is now their 15th trip to the line and 16th attempt here in just a few. But shooting more free throws than Boise, partly because Boise's shooting so well from the field, they haven't needed the free throw line as much, but got to be able to convert. That's been a a little bit of an Achilles heel for Wyoming. They've gotten to the line, just have not made them at the clip that they normally do.
1 or 2 for the line, as you saw right there. And the foul, by the way, was on Degenhart, but there'll be a block. And not liking that call at all is Manyao, as Jeff Linder is standing at the edge of the coaching box, and he's saying, what else does he have to do? His feet were outside the restricted circle. But that foul will be on Wyoming, and the Broncos will go to the line to shoot 2. All Broncos so far 59-43 with 15:58 remaining in the second half. Justin Adams and Brian Burton with you. And one thing that's really standing out in this game really is the defense by Boise State, but also they're able to make some plays too. But let's take another look at that foul, and you be the judge. Was that a charge? I think that was a charge and not a block.
It is the hardest call in the game, so we want to give everybody grace on this thing. But from the live view and the replay, it looked like it was more of a charge than a block. I think the part where maybe Manyao, he wasn't as wide of a stance. He was a little more narrow, and he clipped more of his shoulder than he did his chest. That's normally how referees see it. But, again, in live speed and in replay, it looked more of a charge than it did a block. However, this is the part about being almost a Player of the Year type of player, or excuse me, a Player of the Year type of player,
yeah,
candidate, and almost a Player of the Year on the books. You get the benefit of the doubt in some of those calls. I know Coach Leonard doesn't like it, and he shouldn't, because he's teaching his freshmen how to defend. But, again, the veteran gets the call on that one.
Well, Degenhart now with 17 points. One thing that really stands out, if we talk about the physical play of Boise State, when you say what is one of the main reasons why, well, there's a steal. There's another reason why you could be able to win all these games on the road. How about the right-handed jam for Anderson?
Yeah,
oh, my.
Anderson's a player. There's no other way to put that.
Oh, man.
This young man has got some great open court speed. He's a defender.
And he got
He's
bunnies.
A slasher.
He has
3
bunnies.
steals. He ain't afraid to play above the rim.
Well, Quell Cott looking to respond. That's too long on the 3. Anderson quickly up front to Rice. And there's that 20-point number you were talking about. Boise State has it, and Degenhart makes it 22.
I mean, I know he said this, and it's such a high compliment. And, again, I'm taking Coach Rice's words that he took from someone else who compared him to Tim Duncan. But he has such a quiet game. It's not loud. He's not dunking on people or crossing people over, but he's so efficient. 7 of 8 now with 19 points. Again, a young man who has to be in that strong consideration for Player of the Year as Boise continues to climb the ranks.
Well, Walters looking to respond. He spins around, and that's a good shot for him. So nice shot there by Walters just to stop the 6-0 run, and 11-1 by Boise State over the last 2 minutes. What's the number, would you say, for the Cowboys, just to give them a legitimate shot to say around the 10-minute mark? Well, it doesn't matter. Stanley making another move. Boise State is shooting 68% from the floor, 24 of 35. They're up by 22.
Yeah, in the second half, they haven't missed very much. They made it look easy. And
they're able to go and get steals, too. Going down to the ground, ripping the ball away from Walters. That's Rice. Degenhart in transition gives it to Rice. Rice thought about the 3. Passing it up, getting inside. And the physical play, another one. Grown man move by Omar Stanley, the junior from Overland Park, Kansas. Makes this a 24-point game. And Coach Linder has seen enough and calls a timeout. The Broncos dominating the Cowboys by 24 points. Can Wyoming respond? Boise State outscoring Wyoming 18-9 in the second half. So you know what that means. It's time for our Wyo Lotto play of the game, and it goes to a player right there in black. Anderson, he knows what to do in the fast break, able to slam it home.
Yeah, just elite speed, great anticipation on this, and then no chance to catch up with this young man. And he plays above the rim with a little one-handed jam, a little bit of yell, and he's so fast, you can see on the replay, his hair is blowing in the wind.
Blowing in the wind?
Come on, man.
Just go smooth in the wind right there. But how about this in the wind, too? The magic number is 70 for Boise State because they are 11-2 when scoring 70 points and 16-2 when allowing fewer than 70 points. Both holding true right now with 13:50 to go in half number 2 as Wyoming takes the timeout. They have 2 more remaining. Needing points in the worst way is Sam Griffin, able to go and give him 3 in the corner.
Well, one thing we haven't talked about, they got a 3 on that possession, but they've only taken 10 threes in this game. Boise is number 27 in the country per KenPom stats, saying as far as defending the three-point line, and they have done a great job defending the three-point line, and another easy basket on the back door. Boise just rolling on all cylinders on offense.
I mean, what do you do defensively, Brian? I mean, if you're drawing something up and you're in the coaching huddle right now with your players, what do you say right now to Wyoming?
I mean, I think the hardest part, you got to challenge your team's toughness, your team's grit, your team's pride in getting stops. It's not even about any kind of technique at this point in time. It's about a will and a want to, and you have to be able to have that. Again, you're on your home floor against one of the best teams. You've proven it. You've shot well offensively, but this team has 71 points with 13 minutes left. They're on pace to get over 100.
Foul was on Rice. That's his 3rd personal foul, team 3rd on Boise State. And Sam Griffin, one of the only 2 players in double figures, as Foster thought about shooting 3. Now 7 seconds on the clock. Backing his way down just into the game. That's Koyanis. And Ole Koyanis. Looks like he'll go to the line to shoot 2 on the foul by Boise State. Or is that under the basket? That's actually will be on the floor. Shot clock resets to 20. Then the foul on Cam Martin. That's his 3rd. So the foul started to pick up a little bit for Boise State. That might be the only thing that's not going well for them right now. Again, the Broncos shooting 70% from the floor. 26 of 37. Giannis to Combs, the freshman, crosses over, and there'll be another foul call. So 3 fouls this possession on Boise State.
I don't know for sure. It looks like he may be checking something with the clock. One is the clock.
So it's the clock, so it's no foul, okay. So that'll be looking at the clock. Well, the time says 12:51. Seeing the referee, Frank Harver. What if I see Frank Harver? He said this is what, his
28th year.
28th year. My goodness. Looking to pick up a pension or something from doing all this.
Yeah, one of the top shelf referees.
He is, though. And does a fantastic job. Was talking to us before the game, letting us know about some of the rules. As Giannis has it, and he gets it stripped away. And there goes Boise State yet again getting another steal. As Boise State, that's their 9th steal of the ball game.
Yeah, and again, we don't want to be a broken record, but again, we talked about it. Gritty over pretty. This is a man's game, and Boise wants to be aggressive, be physical. They've done a good job with it, and Wyoming got to find a way. There's a lot of time left in this ball game. This team is very high-powered on offense, so you want to get your offense going, but also, again, once you get those stops, got to convert on the other end and get back in this ball game.
Foster, he'll shoot the 3. Doesn't get it, but he'll go to the line and shoot 3. As Whitty cannot believe that.
You got yourself a break there.
So Whitey picks up the foul, huh?
In the bonus the rest of the game. You have 12 minutes left, Wyoming, so there's a chance you can score a ton of points without having to score field goals. That being said, Kenny Foster, again, we mentioned it earlier. What a story this young man has had. He is the model of resilience, and again, that Cowboy toughness. Has had injury after injury and continues to come back. He's a player that Wyoming fans love because he kind of represents, again, what this program and this community is about. He's a roll-your-sleeves-up guy. He's a winning basketball plays guy and a guy that Coach Leonard really trusts. And a guy, again, we didn't think he was even coming back this season. So to be able to see him finish his career on the court is an awesome testament to him and his work ethic and, again, his resilience.
Foster makes 1 of 3. 71-49's our score. Under 12 minutes to go in half number 2 at Arena-Auditorium. Rice. Anderson with 12 points. A bullet pass, man. And should have been a foul, will be a foul on Wyoming. So it will be the 4th team foul. Looks like the foul will be on Sam Griffin, and it is. So that will be his 3rd personal foul as the Broncos are all over the Wyoming Cowboys, leading by 22. Boise State up 71-49 with 11:42 remaining in the second half. And let's take a look back at our key matchup from today. And we knew that Tyson Degenhart was going to bring his lunch pail, where he brought that and then some. 19.7 of 8 from the floor. He has just been fantastic today.
Yeah, both guys have played well. Both have 8 shots. Both have shot it efficiently, gotten to the free throw line. Neither one of them have rebounded very much, ironically, in this game. But both guys have played well, stepped up for their teams. Degenhart obviously being the alpha on their team. Mason Walters stepping in nicely. He's averaging right at 15. We said that multiple times in the last 3. So he's playing according to plan. But the defensive side of the ball is not something that's on that graphic. And another easy layup out of a baseline, out of bounds, out of a timeout. Again, cannot win ball games at your house or on the road, but definitely not at home if you're allowing someone to come in and shoot this easily.
Well, Rice with 14, and Walters blows a layup. Rushed it to look like a little bit from there, but there are 5 players in double figures for Boise State. Degenhart leading the way with 19.
Yeah, this Boise State team is, again, a team that is just a half a game back. Nice pass from Utah State, and they are a team that is on a mission. They are going to not only be in the NCAA tournament, but they're looking to win this conference. And gotta love the versatility of this team to be able to score inside, to defend the paint, to have speed on the perimeter. They make threes, they defend you. And again, the national ranking that they have, again, per KenPom, is number 43 in the nation. It says a lot about what this team is about.
Almost an amazing pass by Roddy Anderson, stolen away by Wyoming. Looking to give this up a heartbeat in this matchup. They need some three-point shots to fall. Wyoming only 4 of 10 from downtown. Wenzel fouled on the play and thought that he had the steal was Keene. As Aquel Cott will be ready to check back into this game. Haven't seen a lot of Aquel Cott today. Is there any reason why you've seen Aquel Cott not get as many minutes as he normally does?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's about the minutes, but again, I think some of it goes back to defensively. Yeah. They have tried to expose mismatches. They've tried to directly go at him and say, hey, you have to defend if you're going to play on the floor in this game.
Wenzel misses that one way short on the triple. 75-49 as Boise State up by 26. Rice, oh man, what a pass by Rice. Giving it up to Omar Stanley. And Boise is doing whatever they want to against Wyoming in this one. That is the 16th point, as that one is up in the end by Combs.
Combs with a nice drive down the lane, playing above the rim a little bit.
Yep.
Like to see the response. He's played well today in his 14 minutes.
Just a freshman doing a pretty good job out there today, getting some valuable experience against one of the top teams in the Mountain West, as Foster able to get his hands on that one. Here come the Cowboys, down by 26 points.
And I misspoke earlier. I was used to doing the women's game. We had a doubleheader today. It was not the bonus yet because it's 7 for the men. So excuse me for that. Got a little excited.
And nothing wrong with that. Speaking of which, a very exciting first game that we have. Oh, what a pass to Anderson. And he gets it blocked away not once, but twice. Boise State with it. And that's ripped away, a 2-on-1 opportunity. Foster to Combs. Lays it with the left hand and gets the kind roll.
Yeah, Combs is putting in a nice game for himself. He's been at the rim constantly. Good defense by Kenny Foster. Forcing some turnovers, just playing with some energy, playing with some care factor. And that's what Linder wants to see. Regardless of the score, play each possession like it matters. See if you can win this last 9 minutes and give yourself a little bit momentum going into whatever's coming next.
Boise State taking a timeout. They'll have 2 more timeouts remaining. This will be a 30-second variety from Boise State. You can take a look. Just another great shot by Combs. Able to take it in and slam that one home. Like that.
Yeah, coaches are always looking to break down each film and break down the game within the game. You're down a big margin. How can you come back? Well, it's the transition, it's the defense, it's the attacking of the rim, it's finding a way, even though the game hasn't gone the way you wanted. There's nothing you can do about that. But as a coach, you're always looking to figure out, how can we grow in these situations? How can we get better? How can I cut this game into little segments and little goals and see if we can rise to the occasion on those, and then just see where you end up in the end of the day. Again, we talked about the comeback they had against Colorado State. No one expected that. I don't know that they have the firepower in this one to get the stops they need to, but whatever it takes, you got to not quit on the game and find a way to just compete. It's about competing, especially this time of year in March. You want to be able to play some of your best basketball going into the tournament when it's wide open.
Well, especially when you look at the rest of the schedule that Wyoming has as Boise sets up, and that's probably the worst miss they had all day on air ball, but still, Boise able to get the rebound, so Rice, he'll shoot for three, and that one's just too long, and Manyao in with the rebound. But you're looking at the schedule from here as Foster with the lay-in. Great to see the graduate senior able to lay that one in. But when you look at Wyoming and the rest of the schedule they have, they'll play against UNLV, then they're at Colorado State, taking on Air Force at home, and then at Fresno State.
So we're seeing a little bit of triangle and two, meaning there's a triangle in the paint, and they're guarding the two players, Max Rice and Dagenhart, and able to get a couple stops with that triangle and two defense, trying to get creative. Again, this is the game within the game, finding a way to chip back into this lead. Wyoming on a little bit of a run, 6-0
over the last 2 minutes. Once again, this is a big day here at Wyoming, and we have some very, very tough news on Thursday as 3 student athletes passed away in a car accident. And right now we are raising money for funeral costs. And right now it sits at $93,565. And you could be able to continue to donate. All the money will go to the families of these student athletes. As you can see, you have the QR code right there. Again, $93,565 has been raised so far right now. Looking for more to be able to take care of funeral and travel costs.
Yeah, just life is so precious. You hate to see any young person, any person period, lose their life, but young people who are just traveling, going to a normal drive is often made if you're in Wyoming, and just a super unfortunate situation. Thoughts and prayers to their families.
Mason Walters with the triple, and now Wyoming on a 9-0 run over the last 2 minutes, and starting to turn things up. There's a scoring drought by Boise. Hasn't scored for the last 2:30.
Yeah, again, this is what it's about. It's about competing. It's about finding a way. It's about never quitting on any situation and showing that you have the fight. Good job again, get another stop and give yourself a chance.
They're slowly starting to bring the crowd back in this one. I mean, crazier things have happened, literally, as Griffin for three. Oh, that would have been a big one, but Manyao tried to get a grown man rebound, and that's going to be out of bounds, and Manyao is pleading, saying, hey, I was hooked on that play. Didn't get the call.
Yeah, it seemed like the right kind of shot that you want to take. I mean, Griffin is a guy who can make those threes off the bounce as they went under the screen. Love Manyao on the glass.
Oh, man.
And it's hard to go two-hand rebounds if somebody's grabbed your other arm, but that's why it's important to go with two-hand rebounds, because in a game like this, you're not going to get those kind of calls, unfortunately.
I understand, but that's one where, yes, it's a physical game, because that misses absolutely everything. Goodness gracious. But see, on one end, you have where a guy's arm is literally grabbed. And I'm not saying that's not a foul. That is a foul.
Yep.
But you want to see the consistency, at least, fouls on both sides, and you missed on that one.
And this is part of what makes Boise good. Again, we talked about it in the open, gritty over pretty. They want it to be gritty. They want to get a little bit of your arm connected and be physical and just make you have to figure it out. They want to put the pressure on the refs to have to call that foul. And if they don't, hey, we're getting the rock and we're going to do what we do.
And they also do this, too, as Dagenhart misses that. Oh, man, and the tip-in goes off the hands of the Cowboys. Just one of those nights here in Arena-Auditorium. So who you give the points to there?
Well, you don't give it to Walters. That's unfortunate.
Well, Ogbo will get the points. He has 5. As Manyao in the corner, caught for 3. Too long. Dagenhart quickly up court. By the way, Boise State, they play Air Force in their next game, as that was almost thrown away. And will go off the foot of Manyao.
Here's a small story for you. 2 of the highest elevation teams that they're about to play against. One of the secrets for Leon Rice in this squad is beet juice.
Really?
They take beet juice in order to help them combat playing at this elevation. And it's such a thing for them that other teams around the league, Coach Rice says, have stolen their secret formula to playing at the highest elevation.
Wait, so what does beet juice do? Like, what is it about beet juice?
You're a little bit out of my lane. Okay, let's be honest. But Coach Rice says there's something about what's in the beet juice that helps you. I don't know what it is. They also practice with an elevation machine in their practices, and there you see practice makes perfect. He misses on a couple offensive rebounds and gets it. Just a distinct height advantage, athleticism advantage, and Stanley continues to be a grown man in the paint. He now has 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 offensive. I think he might have got 2 or 3 of those in that possession, but just a relentless effort by this Boise State team. Boy, are they really a dangerous team.
Well, you know where that extra energy comes from.
From the beet juice.
It's from the beet juice, right?
Let's go.
By the way, Stanley has 18 points.
Oh, yes,
now,
excuse me.
Well, we get the update.
It added late.
It
It's
adds
all
up a
good.
little bit. That's okay. It's like the beet juice that adds up. I cannot believe that.
Yeah,
beet
yeah.
juice?
Yeah, for those at home, look it up. I don't know what the magic of it is.
But the problem is I have no idea where you even get beet juice.
Coach Rice knows.
That's all that matters, right?
You may want to holler at him if you want some beet juice.
82-56 is our score.
He might be able to get like a NIL endorsement deal, too. You never know.
Take that, man. Look, NIL's popular now. Beet juice, I don't know how popular that will be. Combs with it. Walters shooting 3 and couldn't get the roll. Love the way Maniau still is playing, man. He's still in there trying to get every board that he can get. And that's an errant pass by Stanley trying to get it to Degenhardt. But Maniau with 9 rebounds in this one. Easily has the most rebounds. Look, Wyoming, they only have 17 rebounds. Didn't see this. Only have 17 rebounds in the game. Boise State with 32.
It's, again, the grit of this Boise State team, almost doubling them up at the rebound.
And Maniau with the lay-in. Like that from that freshman, Cam Maniau. 7 points, 9 rebounds. Not going the way that Wyoming wants in this one.
I believe that was freshman to freshman, too. Combs has played really well. He's competed, got into the foul line, defended, played with energy. Getting more of this triangle than 2.
Stanley looking for that 21st point and couldn't get the roll, but Ogbo there for the rebound. Just when you thought that you had an easy rebound, just another Bronco flies in from the weak side. Ogbo now has 7, 24-point lead for Boise State.
Again, and you go back to kind of the Boise State, what people think Boise State basketball is like this just offensive-minded. I mean, this team is a high-level defensive team. You know, San Diego State gets talked about so much in this league, and they are typically one of the best teams defensively in the nation. But Boise State, you got to give Coach Leon Rice, you got to give his staff a tremendous amount of credit as well. They are, again, a top 30 defense right now in the country, and you can see why. And not only that, but they're a great rebounding team. Those are the toughness things that give them a chance to not only win this league, but like you said, make a run themselves in this tournament.
There's a lot of kids out there who want to play college ball. They also want to play at a Division I level. There's kids out here doing a thing right now on the court, but there are only certain guys who could play for Leon Rice. When you talk about the physicality, right? You talk about those different things. How do you recruit those type of players? Where do you go to get them?
I mean, you got to give, again, some of it is a tradition. They've done a good job with transfers traditionally at Boise State. They've done a good job recruiting high IQ players. They've done a good job recruiting athleticism.
And they also don't give up on rebounds, too. Ogbo had two chances. Now Whiting thought about a 3. Kicks up to Degenhardt. Why not? That's good. Tyson Degenhardt now has 22 points. He is also 3 of 4 from downtown. 25-point lead for the Broncos. And
these are culture moments for this Boise State team. Their culture is about that relentless effort. They care about the glass. They chart the rebounding percentages that you going after rebounds. And again, they have a veteran club that is connected. They're together. And again, I said it earlier, but they are on a mission for a conference championship. They are not just here just to hang out.
Well, they're here enjoying themselves at Arena-Auditorium, up by 25, well on their way to their 19th victory of the year. Main reasons why Boise State is sitting at the second spot in the Mountain West standings. This is the reason why they're up by 25 over Wyoming. And when you look back at the keys to the game, it's all about being gritty over pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself. 48-32. They're out rebounding by 10 or more. You just got to, it's been ugly. They've led the entire game, and they've dominated in all the effort areas. Meanwhile, elite offensive production, they just haven't been able to do it. They haven't been able to do it from three, which is a huge key for them. They've shot well from the field, but by no means on the offensive end has it been elite as far as the production, as far as what they've needed to be able to compete with this Boise State team. They now have 88 points. Wyoming has 62 points. They've shot 50% from the field, but they haven't been effective offensively the way they need to be able to hang in this game. It's not a game where you can just trade baskets. That's not what Boise State is going to allow you to do. And again, Max Rice, another one of these guys who's an underappreciated guy, playing for his dad, definitely wants to do something special again in those times you get to play for your father and compete. He is a very good player in this league.
Lanyao couldn't get the lay-in to go. Will shoot 2 free throws. One thing that stands out to me in this game, Boise State is plus 20 in rebounds, 37-17 from just rebounding the ball, and we saw it late in this game.
I would say that's probably gritty, right?
Oh, that's
okay,
extremely gritty. Oh, man, that's not gritty by a little bit. That's very gritty.
That's dominant is what that is.
It's beet juice, too, as you told me earlier. Can't believe beet juice. As Danielle gets that one to fall, and you see Caden Powell come back into this game. Let's look at Wyoming. Wyoming, they're going to fall to 13-14, 6 of 8 in the Mountain West. There will be at least a game up on Fresno State, several other teams too. When you look at the Cowboys, obviously this will be a tough defeat. They will now have lost 5 out of their last 6 games. Where is up from here for the Cowboys?
They have another home game with UNLV. They have a home game against Air Force.
Winnable game.
They go to a rival at Colorado State who's going to want to get revenge, and they've beaten Fresno State. Now they have to go there. So there's a chance that they could still win 3 out of those last 4 games, quite honestly. But they have to, again, find a way to have a better defensive identity. Kenny Foster coming back helps them. I think Combs and what he's done along with the freshman, the other young freshman, the big, has also played really well. But you got to find a way to get some more grit and toughness, because not only have you lost some of these games, but you haven't been competitive. You've been, beat by a large margin. And when the games are closer, they've played really well, but they have to find a way to bounce back when the games are not going the way that they would like it to go.
And keep them close, as Sam Griffin was harmed on that play. And you were talking about the games not even being close. You look at Nevada, lost that one 76-58. Lost a close one to San Jose State, but actually they won that one 80-75. But then you look at the games, Utah State, that was a very winnable game that they could have had. Lost that one at home 78-76. Lost to New Mexico at home 91-73. So you look at these double-digit defeats, and it's one where you say, how can you just stay in these games and give yourself that opportunity to be able to pull it out?
And all the close games that they pretty much won all the close ones. So that says something about they have something in there. When things are clicking, they play very well. Again, the end of the year, you want to be trending up, not trending the other way. They have, again, this league is incredibly hard. We've talked about 6 teams are probably going to be going to the to the NCAA tournament. So that in itself says you're not playing regular conference teams. You're playing NCAA tournament teams. This is a high major basketball conference. So the Cowboys just have to, again, respond. It's all about how you respond. You can't do it. One loss just counts for one game, just like any other game. And even though you may have gotten beaten badly, you got to find a way, again, to compete every single game, every single day, and respond.
You see the rebound being pulled down by Caden Powell, and Manyao, like he got hit in the face by Ogbo. And he gives a thumb up saying, I'm all right. As Caden Powell will step to the line to shoot the 1-and-1 foul, by the way, on Ogbo.
And as you've broadcasted in this conference, you've seen a lot of these teams.
Yep.
What do you see in this Boise State team compared to some of the other teams you've seen here that you really like?
Well, I've seen Utah State when they played against Air Force, and immediately from the tip, I was like, this team is different from any of the other team I've seen. I still believe San Diego State is the class of this conference. But when you look at, say, the NCAA tournament, I could see a team like Boise State being able to advance to the second weekend of the tournament. Just very physical. As we see Maniau go to the bench, and he's continuing to rub his face. So hopefully everything is all right with that young man from there. But and we actually are going to go to the monitor and see if this will be a flagrant foul. But, yeah, when you talk about other teams in the Mountain West, obviously Air Force having a tough year, but they won on the road against New Mexico. And it just shows that anybody in this conference on any given day can truly beat you no matter where you're at. On your home court, on the road, they can be able to beat you. But what I've seen from Boise State today is extremely impressive because of the physical play. Not a lot of teams want to play that way. And that's the main thing. Not a lot of teams want to be physical as we take another look at what the referees are seeing. And take a look at Ogbo, who has 5 fouls and he's fouled out of the game. And you see that looks to be the right wrist got into the face of Maniau.
So I got a little something for you.
Okay.
A little update.
All right.
I went into my bag a little bit.
Okay.
I was going to leave this out.
Okay.
But we're talking about the beet juice.
Yes.
Studies show that beet juice with high amounts of nitrate made the blood vessels relax and return to normal function at high altitude.
Really?
Just telling you.
Wow.
Just had to get in my notes.
All right, man. Put it in my Sprite. Just make it work out. Just put it right there. Beet juice in my Sprite. Don't put that other thing in my Sprite right there. But as we're taking a look again, they're looking at the monitor to see if this will be a flagrant. What do you think? Do you think this is the flagrant foul? I thought the right arm got into the face of Maniau.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'll be honest. I didn't get a clean look at it. I don't want to speculate on it, but you know, with 2 minutes left, you just want to keep the game clean. You want to get out of here with no injuries. At this point, Wyoming's emptied their bench a little bit. Same with Boise State. So you get some guys who are not normally in the game. So just want to finish this game the right way. Again, be injury-free, and naturally these young men want to be able to compete for minutes and show that they belong, and the referees want to make sure they're getting it right too. So got to salute them. They've done a great job today in this contest.
And obviously a big win, so let's see what the whistle will be. Is this a common foul? And looks like this will be a common foul. (89-65). Last couple of moments of this one coming up next. Under 2 minutes to go. It's 89-66. Finally, we figured out what the situation was with that. You know, you have to go to the monitor. Well, we had a common foul. So no call on the, what would be the, say, elbow or wrist to the face on Maniau by Ogba. So no harm, no foul. Now we have a lot of players coming off the bench in this one as the white flag is being waved, and Boise State will win this game. By the way, wanted to go and mention this before we go off air today. Boise State, they're going to be in the Wyoming, Colorado area for a while. Their next game is at Air Force, so they have a very interesting schedule that they have. They flew in to Wyoming last night. They'll stay overnight, and then tomorrow they'll leave in the morning, and they will go to Fort Collins. And so they'll stay in Fort Collins for a couple of days. Then on Tuesday, they'll make the drive from Fort Collins down to Colorado Springs, where they would take on Air Force in that game. They'll be at 7 o'clock as it's an offensive foul. So it's plenty of time to stay at elevation. No use of going back to Idaho when you have to go and fly back to Colorado. So just stay here, and I think that's a smart idea to be able to do, rather than kind of going back and forth. Yep. You guys could be able to get some rest. You could be able to practice, keep the legs fresh, and take on an Air Force team that shocked New Mexico on the road today. As the three-point bucket is up and good, Colt Robeson, the sophomore from Arlington, Washington, gets the triple.
Yeah, and Leon Rice has had 2 representatives in the last 6 NBA drafts. Chandler Hutchison, and along with Justinian Jessup, just done a great job developing players, having some high-level players in this program. They've won at such a terrific clip. Again, probably one of the least celebrated nationally teams in this conference that has done just such consistent work in this conference. And again, they're right on the heels of Utah State to be able to be in that first place as this conference play winds down.
We're seeing a wire-to-wire victory. It will be wire-to-wire as the triple is knocked in by Andrew Mehta. And you look at the standings yet again, Utah State not playing tonight. The next time that Utah State will play will be on Tuesday as they will take on Fresno State. As the shot is up and good, be a three-point opportunity for Wyoming. As you take a look at Combs, this young man has a great future here in Laramie.
Yeah, he's kind of got that toughness that they like to be able to have. He's knife into the basket, creating off the bounce, and great minutes for him today. You start trying to think about the bright spots of this for Wyoming. He's definitely been one of them.
When you talk about bright spots, all you have to do is talk about this team in black and blue. Did a great job being very physical on the road today. A wire-to-wire victory for Boise State as they able to get the W on the road, winning by 20, 92-72 over the Wyoming Cowboys as Boise State improves to 19-8, also 10-4 in conference play. And this is a milestone, the 900th win for the Boise State Broncos. Congratulations to them in Division I. Just a great job by them today.
Yeah, and a great job and a testament to Leon Rice. You see him hug Jeff Linder, former assistant of his for 6 years. You see him hug Coach V as well, Coach Vandiver, of another former assistant of his. He's got a coaching tree of his own, and he's got a player tree as well. We mentioned some of those NBA players. Tyson Dagenhart on his way to being at the top of the conversation for Mountain West Player of the Year. Just an absolute baller who is efficient as can be. He's got terrific range, shoots the ball from long, from deep. Also being able to back down in the post. He's tough, he's physical, he's got the touch off the glass. We mentioned Timmy Duncan earlier. There you see him off the window. Nice floater. And here you see him getting it done on the defensive end and being able to get the strong and one finish. Tyson Dagenhart was an absolute monster in this game today. 22 points, 8 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line and the arc. Just 3 rebounds, but there wasn't a lot of misses. His team cleaned them up. They were up 20 on the glass today.
Yeah, Boise State shooting 54%. By the way, Tyson Dagenhart is our Cheyenne Regional Medical Center Player of the Game. Just a dominant victory overall by Boise State as they will improve to 19-8, and they will be tied up top in the standings in the Mountain West as they're able to get the W. And let's take a look at the final statistics. And I mean, the rebounds, it just shows that physical play. Like you said, we don't care about how pretty it is. We're going to make this a very physical game, and that's exactly what Boise did today.
I mean, they did it in an emphatic fashion. They were absolutely dominant from start to finish. Just about 15 assists. The rebound says it all. They were able to shoot it well from 3, but, I mean, they just imposed their will in this game, and you got to, again, tip your hat. They're a team that's playing elite basketball right now on both sides of the ball.
Well, it was gritty over pretty today as Boise State gets another victory on the road. One of the best teams in the Mountain West able to do so today. And for Wyoming, they will fall to 13-14 and 6-8 in conference play. Join us for our next game as UNLV will come back here and play against Wyoming. For my broadcast partner, Brian Burton, I'm Justin Adams saying so long from Laramie, Wyoming, with a final score, Boise State 92, Wyoming at 72. For more live Wyoming athletic broadcasting features, go to gowyo.com.